So enigmatic and charismatic, gotta live static, gotta get at it, never pragmatic, cause we live tragic. I can't live average, to be alive's magic. Turn it up in the back cause I'm grabbing everything I want, get in my way and I'm stabbing. I'll be moving crowds till I'm 6 feet napping. They need another fix, hooked on like an addict. I got my eyes on the prize and it's changing lives. I wanna live till I die, make a difference, right? I wanna give those in need a reason to fight. I wanna live every day like it's my last night. I wanna change how we play the game, rearrange all the pieces till they say my name, push an agenda against doing what they say. I wanna stand up and start a revolution. I wanna 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 start a revolution. I won't stay down, pushing till I'm daisies. I'm on top now, while me kissing babies. Call me out, president, boss tool, hate me. I'ma trust my gut, you don't faze me. I'ma get my blood, don't save me. Damn it, step or enough, still chasing every single dream that I've had since I was 18. I wanna start a revolution. I wanna start a revolution. I wanna start a revolution. I wanna start a revolution.
And yes, because we're going to swing right back to Kylie Rodney, I'm still playing her intro. Let's get it, yo.
Breaking news out of Placer County. 16-year-old Kylie Rodney.
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 Kylie Rodney is
Kylie Rodney.
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 Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney. Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney.
Kylie Rodney. All right, let me pause that there. I don't know how I want to do this tonight. Ooh, let me pause that. There's just so many topics that I kind of at least want to touch base on for y'all to go watch whatever, do whatever. But I guess I'm just going to start off with Kylie Rodney. We're going to get through a whole bunch of topics, and then maybe we'll loop back around to Kylie Rodney because I see people are still making videos and talking about her and keeping her name out there. So, and that's super important. So tonight's topics will be Kylie Rodney. We're going to touch base on Sebastian, Ruby Frank, Trump, Diddy, the illegal border crossing in the north that nobody's paying attention to. And I have a couple tabs open that I want to read some articles. So We won't get that. For anybody that is trying to stay up to date on Sebastian's case, I highly, highly, highly recommend going and making sure that you're tuning in to T-Rev both on YouTube and on his Twitter X platform. He's doing such a great job keeping up to date on the information out there. And that's all I'm going to leave at that. His story is just, it's what are we on, day 20 now? It's heartbreaking. I guess there's new interviews with the parents and stuff like that out there. You guys can go watch all of that over at T-Revs or whoever you so choose. As far as Ruby Frank goes, after listening to her testimony and then reading her journal entries for myself and then seeing pictures of her kids in the hospital and stuff like that, her testimony does not match what happened to them kids. But her journal entries are very, very telling. If you haven't read those, I highly recommend going and checking those out because that shit is just oof, 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 oof. But we're gonna bounce on to Kylie Rodney because there was something was sent to me, and when I read it, I was like, wait a minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up right now. And then the lovely Miss Ara, I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Pointed it out.
I'm just going to leave this here.
This right here. Okay.
I'm just going to leave this here. Hi, everybody. I miss you all. Read it.
Read it. Okay, so I'm just going to pause this. I have the original. I'll just put this here. The original post right here. And I don't know what this beef is about. What I'm more concerned with was what he says in the following sentence. I don't know who contacted who and made promises, but let's just be transparent. And there are no assumptions. I have proof of what she did in the Kylie Rodney case and the Layla Santinello case. I am the investigator in those cases. Well, SF, I thought you weren't licensed in California. So how were you investigating when you're out there telling everybody that you were there as a volunteer pro bono? But here you are admitting that you were the investigator in those cases. Just concerning bold statement that I wanted to point out. And then we're just going to move along because I have a lot of topics I want to get through. And then the one video I want to watch of ninjas is 34 minutes long. So what is the next topic? Oh, Mr. Trump. So it turns out that all this stuff that they're doing to poor Trump, y'all, like, I understand people don't like his potty mouth. People don't like my potty mouth. People don't like the way that he just says things. Do I think he could reword things a little bit better? Yes. However, this $500 million bond that they were trying to put on his properties because he overcompensated how much they were worth was lowered today to, I think it was $147 million. I made a short on it, and it's great because as he's at the mic addressing everything, he goes to turn around and walk away, and the one news reporter had asked him, how are you going to pay for your collateral? And he turned around like a fucking pimp. And he was just like, Boss Daddy Don was just like, cash, I'm glad that he's settling that out. Like, what they're conspiring against him to try to stop him running for office is very obvious. And it just gets more and more obvious the more that they try to drag this man. I hope things get cleared up because regardless, I know who I'm voting for this year. And then we're going to move on because everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about P. Diddy, what's going on. And I'm just going to pull up X. I'm going to leave that open because I need some more thingies. So this is from Nick Sorter. Just in, Sean Diddy Combs' private jet has just left the United States. The music executive Gulfstream G650 took off earlier today from the Van Nuys Airport near Los Angeles shortly before the raid on Diddy's home by Homeland Security and has now landed in an airstrip in Barbuda, which is in the Caribbean. Diddy is under federal investigation for trafficking. And a crazy thing is not just one, but two of his homes have been raided. And it's so sad to me that he left his two kids behind. There's no confirmation that he was on these flights or he is on this flight or that, I mean, but if you just go through on Twitter and you just go watch the videos of the raid, here's the video of the raid. I'm not going to play the audio or anything like that. But they not only, they didn't arrest his kids, but they detained them so they could commence with their warrant. They not only searched his Los Angeles property, but they also, the feds were very interested in his Miami property as well. And it's odd. Right before this raid happened, he hops on his private jet, which the name of his private jet is just makes me nauseous too. These comments that people leave. This person says he will come back once his assets are frozen and his credit cards don't work. I would just like to know who tipped him off to get out of the country. What person in the Democratic Party let him know. And it's really odd that they're using him as an example. They're raiding his home and doing all of these things. But what about all of these people that are on the Epstein list? Not one of their homes were raided. Not one arrest was made. It's very odd how they selectively approach certain things. I don't know if Diddy doesn't have enough money or if he has something on somebody. I have no idea. This goes back to conversations with Justin Bieber and Diddy. But it does say here, hold on, let me scroll down. It says P. Diddy right now. That shit's great, dude. I love memes. Sloan Bella predicted Diddy's downfall back in November. I think that's when allegations were starting to come out about him anyway. And then there was a lot of arguments and a whole bunch of Twitter posts, and I'm glad that this is all in here under Nick Sorter's stuff. People were saying that he fled to a country or a place where he couldn't be extradited, but that is false. The formal title on this is the Senate Consideration of Treaty Document. Extradition treaties between the government of the United States of America and the government of 6 countries compromising the Organization of Eastern Caribbean Status, collectively the treaties. The treaties are with Antigua, Barbuda, and they were signed on June 3rd, 1996. They include Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts Nevis. So he's I mean, what's he gonna do? Go out on his boat and stay in the ocean? I have no idea. But I'm gonna keep up with what's going on with Diddy. That's all I gotta say. There's a lot of people talking about it, so y'all can go find a whole bunch of information on that. All right, so we covered that. I'm gonna go ahead and close that. And then I found this article from Tor, which she's somebody that I follow off of Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to go ahead and read this article because I only read about halfway through and I was like, oh, that's a really good read. This is about a 9-minute read, so bear with me, y'all. This is called The Dark Web of Deception, Unraveling the Online Retail Conspiracy and a Fight Against Child Exploitation. In the past few weeks, I have observed catfishing for activist engagement. This is a known tactic in the intelligence community to discredit and distract effective activism against the subject matter at hand. This is a deceptive practice where individuals or groups create misleading or entirely fictitious online advertisements, profiles, or scenarios. These are strategically designed to appear as if they are related to child exploitation activities. The primary objective of these false ads is not to engage in such illicit activities, but rather attract, identify, or engage individuals who are opposed to child exploitations. I will not only demonstrate the reality of Pizzagate, but I will also give you irrefutable proof that they are catfishing, but the catfishing is also a mode to possibly hide illicit activity. The Comet Pizza case, also known as Pizzagate, is a conspiracy theory that emerged during the 2016 United States presidential election cycle. The theory claimed that the high-ranking Democratic Party officials were running a child sex trafficking ring out of Washington, D.C. pizza restaurant called Comet Ping Pong. The theory was based on the belief that the emails of John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, campaign manager, contained coded messages that referred to human trafficking and pedophilia. The theory gained traction on social media and was widely circulated. David Seaman, a former writer for The Street, The Huffington Post, gained notoriety for his role in debunking the Comet Pizza conspiracy theory, which claimed that a Washington, D.C. pizza restaurant was involved in child sex trafficking ring. He wrote several articles and made numerous appearances on television and radio to refute the claims back in 2016 and 17. On Joe Rogan's podcast, Seaman forcibly highlighted Alex Jones' retraction of his support for Pizzagate, a theory Jones himself dismissed as fictitious. However, this perspective starkly contrasts with the clear indications of Pizzagate's validity. Furthermore, Alex Jones, often seen as a bold influencer, is in reality a concealed operative working on behalf of affluent organizations and agencies. Seaman was arrested on March 20th, 2023, in connection with a child porn investigation. He was charged with possession and distribution of child P. The arrest came after a months-long investigation by the FBI, which found evidence that Seaman had been sharing and receiving explicit images of children on the internet. It is most likely that he was investigating and catfishing pedos, but without sharing the information, as many journalists do. The FBI can claim that he was trading for himself as opposed to an investigation. And that's exactly what happened. This man was trying to catfish pedos. And he made the mistake of not letting, like, a journalist should document what they're doing so people know that, they ain't part of that. And that's what they do. They'll twist it on you and make you look like you're the one that's doing the dirt, It is important when we investigate topics of human exploitation, illicit drugs, or arms distribution that you do so openly and with constant reporting, anonymously or not, with authorities, because you can be wrapped up in all of it. Seaman is innocent until proven guilty and has not been convicted. James Gordon Meek, a former ABC News investigative and journalist, was arrested in July on federal charges of CP and possession and transportation. Meek had been with ABC News for nearly a decade, working on high-profile stories and receiving an Emmy nomination. The FBI raided Meek's home in April, seizing multiple devices containing explicit images of children. The investigation uncovered that Meek had been using various online platforms to share and receive CSAM, An affidavit from the FBI disclosed that their search uncovered numerous images of CP, which had been amassed since 2014. At the time, Meek was employed as an investigative producer with ABC News. See, isn't this crazy how these people that are investigating and trying to expose the people that are actually doing the dirt are the ones that are going down, so that the ones doing these illicit activities can't be exposed. Okay, so the concept of interplay between the intelligence community and journalists needs to be better understood and noticed. Recognizing that the intelligence community sometimes assigns or recruits journalists to disseminate stories into the mainstream media is crucial. This can involve reporting on specific operations or activities and may include recognition in the form of journalism awards. These tactics are used to enhance the credibility of their stories in the public eye, even though the narratives being promoted might significantly deviate from the actual truth. For a deeper insight to this, watch the documentary Enjoy the Show. Is highly recommended, and you can do so at this link. So I will copy this link as well, and then I will give you the link to this article so anybody can go read it themselves. And then I will drop the link to this as well. Here's the article I'm reading. Meek also held a significant role as a senior counterterrorism advertiser and investigator for the U.S. House Committee on Homeland Security. His work in this capacity, particularly his reporting on the 2017 Orlando Pulse nightclub, that earned him an Emmy Award. It is important to note that the person that did that was identified as Omar Mateen, and he was unalived by law enforcement during the incident. A convenient outcome considering he was connected to the IC. The FBI concluded that it was radicalized through the internet and had pledged allegiance to the IS. Conveniently at the time, that is Islamophobia was dominant. All right, so let's just keep moving on. It is a known fact that the buying and selling of illicit materials and human trafficking have been ongoing since the beginning of time. Remember, humans used to be sold as commodities for worldwide for eons. Services like tarot readings, medicine, food, etc. Someone is always selling something someone wants. Oh, if anybody wants to come up on a panel, you're more than welcome to. I'm sorry. Totally forgot to drop link. There you go. If you guys want to talk about any of these topics that I'm covering. The notion of child exploitation using retail market is not novel, which means new. It has been ongoing for eons, but as humans obtained broader access to communications at their fingertips, the digital realm has been a hotbed of discerning such activities as selling children into slavery or organ trading has skyrocketed. Dude, y'all, I watched this video on X, and the community notes on it have confirmed that it to be true. To where there was this cargo container, and they found like 17,000 babies in the shipping cargo container. And to hear the testimonies of the dudes that opened this container, whoa, it's not something that I want to put on YouTube anyway, but you can go look for it on Twitter. The FBI in the United States has a specialized investigative division documenting their symbolisms to attract customers who wish to buy such products. It is not new or unknown, but the sellers, multi-million-dollar global companies, and highly wealthy individuals have vehemently tried to obfuscate it because the world-renowned journalist Liz Crokin has exposed it effectively over the years. If you guys don't know who Liz Crokin is, you need to go check her out on Twitter. I think she's the one that just put out the Britney Spears documentary she just made. It's like an hour long. I just watched it earlier today. However, amplifying such activities artificially in this information war is a cause of great concern and pause. Oh, did you really, Miss W? In 2018, a striking BBC investigation highlighted alarming activities within the Facebook marketplace. The report revealed a clandestine trade of illegal items, including rugs with a D, various weapons facilitated by the platform. See, this is why Meta is in trouble. Sellers cunningly use coded language and images to evade Facebook's monitoring system, listing these illicit items undetected. This revelation sparked grave concerns about user safety and called into question the efficiency of Facebook's policies and mechanisms designed to thwart the sale of illegal goods. Coded language symbols like the coded language the FBI claims are used by people buying and selling children online, like these below. And we've gone through these in very early on lives, so I'll just click through them. And these were all unclassified by the FBI. In response, Facebook acknowledged violating its community standards and pledged to enhance its monitoring and enforce strategies, which, I mean, all he did was exploit kids even further. This situation mirrors a more significant issue plaguing digital marketplace and social media platforms, where their expansive reach and their user autonomy are exploited for unlawful activities. Consequently, these platforms now face mounting regulatory pressure to implement robust measures for detecting and preventing such misuse. I still see this shit going on Facebook all the time. I try to report it when I see it, but it just goes on to say that Facebook has invested in advanced AI human monitoring teams, and it's not helping. And then this is a 9-minute long article, and you're not telling me that they're selling a pizza box or a pizza boxes and a pizza warmer for 30 grand. I've seen a lot of things selling between eBay, the marketplace, and various websites that sell like organizing stuff. It's just I believe it's very real. Yeah, this is just him focusing, like, and if you look at all of these things, like, this dude really did a good job, or chick did a really good job of documenting all of this stuff. If you guys don't know who Tor is, you should go check her out on X. You can find her under, oh, I forget her name. Hold on, let me see. I have her name right here somewhere. I thought I did. Huh, I don't. I thought I did. Anyway, you can just go to that article and you can find you can find her. And then, oh yeah, and if you go to her or her Twitter, she has tons of videos. She does a lot of good stuff. Highly recommend going and checking out her Twitter X. I love what Elon Musk has done for Twitter. Got rid of all the extra people that don't need to be there, and then made sure that freedom of speech is open there, allowed there, and that he has the community notes so that people can clarify if it's misinformation or not. And then in this video series, it uncovers the presence of medical professionals who are not there to protect or heal the children after assault, but rather a more malevolent purpose. These doctors stand by not to offer aid or comfort the victims, but to harvest their organs once they have been abandoned by those who are used to the satisfaction of their depraved clients. It's a reality so dark and evil that it forces us to question the moral compass of those who in position of power and influence. The clientele involved in such atrocities often include journalists, politicians, doctors, and extremely wealthy, indicating the alarming high cost and exclusivity of these activities. This aspect of my story aims to unveil the depths of evil that can lurk behind the facade of respectability and success, challenging readers to contemplate the true nature of those who wield power and influence in our society. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the homepage of this. This website's really good. It's Tor Says, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Tor Says is her name on Twitter as well. Let me copy this. Let me drop that in there. I'm not reading the rest because there's some stuff in the bottom of it that I just... All right, let me go ahead and close that. Okay, and then this is another, like, this person right here, the hot star on Twitter, spent years and years and years and years, and they still, to this day, expose trafficking of all kinds. They talk about government, our system, an incredible page as well on Twitter. So this is about Jeffrey Epstein, and summary of evidence about him having ties to the Rothschilds. And I'm just going to read through this. They've been documenting this hardcore since March 2021. And this says, summary of evidence. I'll zoom in so you guys can read it too. Summary of evidence. Listed below are 9 proofs that Lynn Forrester de Rothschild was intimately involved with Jeffrey Epstein to some capacity. I have not speculated as to what capacity that is. This article is rather long and aimed at addressing valid skepticism for these proofs by providing solid evidence alongside auxiliary and contextual information. Over 80 different sources have been used. These range from court filings, financial filings, photographs, newspaper of record, and tabloid papers too. None of the primary evidence relies on a weak source, such as a tabloid, even though at times they have provided better coverage of Epstein network than the newspaper targeted to professional classes. Lynn Rothschild brother, Ken, owned and operated a private terminal at the Teterboro Airport in New Jersey under the name Millionaire. Teterboro Airport was the travel hub of Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking operation. Millionaire is listed in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book, and it is. 2. Lynn Rothschild wrote a letter to Bill Clinton in 1995 mentioning a discussion she had with Clinton regarding Epstein. 3. During the course of 1997 and 1998, Lynn made 5 separate trips with Jeffrey Epstein on his plane. 4. In 2000, Lynn Rothschild sold a Manhattan townhouse to Jeffrey Epstein for $8.5 million below its market value. Ghislaine Maxwell moved into this townhouse shortly after and lived there until 2015. 5. There is evidence to suggest Lynn Rothschild may have introduced Jeffrey Epstein to Alan Dershowitz, Nathan Myhrvold, Prince Andrew, and Bill Clinton. 6. Lynn Forrester Rothschild began her career at a law firm tangentially associated with the district attorneys whose office attempted to downgrade Epstein's offender status in 2011. 7. In 2013, Lynn Rothschild was placed on an advisory board of the Dutch Bank, which at the time was trying to expand its U.S. clientele. A month after her appointment, Dutch Bank recruited Jeffrey Epstein as a client. 8. The 2015 release of the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs sealed 4 out of 5 pages logging flights Lynn had taken with him. A pattern in the flight log pages sealed suggests this was intentional. 9. Lynn Rothschild husband, Evelyn de Rothschild, was a listed contact in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book, yet she is not. Yeah, exactly, Sage. Whew, y'all ready for all this? This is a long read, so I might not read it all. I'm just going to drop the link in here. This is a really, really, this is really, really well done. Really well done. And thanks to Twitter, I found this. So this just breaks down, how all these ties can be made. All of these numbers on here cite his source. This is so very well done with proof, with receipts. Please definitely go read this article. It's so well worth it. It goes through Andrew Stein, Lynn Forrester's husband, the airlines. It even shows how Trump sold some of his stuff to I'm going to assume, get away from these people. Metro Media, there's YouTube video links. There's so much information in this, y'all. Y'all need to go check this out. It is one of the best, well done, written investigations that I've seen in a long while when it comes to Epstein. It's all here. Everything is here. There's so much in here that I'll scroll through it real quick just to show you guys how, whoa, who's that? Goes into Prince Andrew. It names the people. This is before a lot of the list was redacted, and this is the information. I can't wait till this is updated or they put more stuff out there with the now disclosed information. Dang, dude. This is a really long article. I can't wait to read this fully. But yeah, there's all the sources that they used. 83 different sources. So yeah, Sage. Yep. Yeah, and the Rothschild, I mean, yeah, they own a lot of the banking systems. I'm pretty sure that they own our Fed or had hands in making our Fed. All right, let's loop back around. I think. Oh wait, no, one more topic. One more topic, and then we're gonna watch a Kylie Rodney video, and then that'll be for me tonight. While everyone is focused on our southern Mexico border, illegal immigrants are pouring across from our Canada border. Okay, nobody's paying attention to the Canada border. The number of people crossing from Canada is rising rapidly, and it was a flood we had not seen before. It was an exponential shift, something we were not expecting. More people arrested in the fiscal year of 2023, more than the previous 12 years combined. I have never seen anything like it. Most of the people that we are encountering are single adults, mostly men. They have come from 66 different countries: India, Bangladesh, Haiti, Venezuela. And this is coming from the north border. And that is courtesy of Wall Street Apes on Twitter. I'm going to read. And then this Allison Dyer, she's at Third Jenner on Instagram. She had noted, as someone on the northern border in New Hampshire, it's something I have been following closely. And this is what's crazy. Of the 564 apprehensions from the terror watch list, 484 have been at our northern border. But if you bring this up in New Hampshire, you are racist, bigoted, and Nazi, according to the New Hampshire Democrats, who all voted no to ban on the sanctuary cities here in New Hampshire. Canada will not accept the migrants sent back from our northern border, of which by last count of the 564 illegal entries from the terrorist watch list, 484 came across our northern border. It's just crazy how they're doing all these arrests at the northern border, but they're letting all these people that could possibly be on a watch list come on through by the thousands. Do y'all want to watch some videos on that? Because I do have some saved. I'm not sure. Here, I'll just play this little clip here. Ooh, I don't like that it's got 66K views, but hey.
Tonight in our Question Everything, we take a look at the migrant crisis at the border, but we're not talking about the southern border. We're talking about the border in our own backyard. The number.
Yep, let's just skip through this. I'm going to skip through this because I don't want them. It's not monetized anyway. None of my lives are monetized.
Speed for Border Patrol agents headed to the line between Vermont and Canada.
Hey, partner, there's a white van that just came down this way, and he's heading back up. It looks like he's heading towards 114.
We saw agents arresting a Lithuanian national, the man detected by a sensor in the woods. One agent took a picture of his shoe, a piece of evidence that could prove he illegally crossed the border.
That's crazy town, right? And then I just want to show you where they're crossing.
And varying border terrain across 5 northeastern counties of New York, all of Vermont, and New Hampshire. Where once it was more common to see deer than people, now Eric LaValle, the agent in charge of Swanton's Beecher Falls Station, says the border is seeing record illegal crossings.
Why are we allowing this to happen?
1,000 people arrested in fiscal year 2023, more than the
got to replace all the black voters that are going to be voting Trump with people that will honor to vote. I don't understand how they won't help our homeless. They won't help our veterans. That they wouldn't give, health care to people in need in the United States, but like actual illegal immigrants that are coming through our border. Like they're handing them money, they're giving them homes, they're giving them health care, and then they're going to shut them off come April 1st. And when they shut those people off, after passing all these laws that, you know, if they come to your house, you have to help them. No, you don't. I'm liking Florida's laws. If you guys didn't see what the Florida sheriff said in one county, he said, if someone's trying to come into your home, please do shoot them. We advise for it, you know. I don't understand how this can continue to go on.
Previous 12 years.
Like, you won't take care of Americans, but you'll take care of all these illegals coming in.
Combined.
I have never seen anything like it.
They have come from 66 different countries: India, Bangladesh, Haiti, Venezuela, with approximately 49% coming from Mexico.
Most of the people that we are encountering.
Crazy, right? I'm gonna drop the link for this because I know some news channels are very picky about their copyright stuff, so I just play a little bit of that. I mean, I have a whole bunch of videos on here. I'll even drop this link. Share. There we go. This one's from the New York Post. This one is very well done as well. This one is from, I hate all these mainstream medias because, like, and it's sad that, like, you hear so much about the southern border, and then it took them 2 years, like 2 years this has been ongoing at our northern border, and you're just now hearing about it. Let me share this one. This one's from DW News, which I prefer private journalists, citizen journalists over mainstream news media. All right. That's that. I got through all of that. Yeah, I love Sheriff Judd. All right. If anybody wants to come up on panel, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to just do a full loop right back around, and we're going to touch base on Kiely Rodni. I have not gotten to watch all but maybe 2 minutes of this Ninja Chihuahua observations about the teens and young adults in Kylie's case. So if Ninja, you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and play this. Damn, she's getting up there in subs, dude. I'm going to share this. Y'all go make sure you're subscribed to Ninja Chihuahua True Crime. I don't know what's happening. Come on, you can do it. Reload it, maybe? Oh, there we go. Let's get it.
So I figured it was probably time to do another drive talk. I kind of actually enjoy doing them, and it's been a bit of over a week since my
I love when
one.
she does her little drive chats.
I think I'm going to try and make it my goal to do one on a weekly basis.
That'd be cool. That's what's up.
Probably each weekend. And
I'm down for that.
Timing, because I've just finished doing another Sue Neil Fraser video, which I've just dropped.
Like, she already does so well on her videos and stuff like that. It's just when she's out and she's driving and she's chit-chatting, like, it's something about her drives that it helps her think. And I understand that, because when I'm driving, it helps me think. When I'm keeping busy, like, my thought process is a lot better.
And I've got another bigger video to work on. But
exactly, Kelly.
I thought I'd just, stop and take a bit of chat time first. So this time round, I wanted to just...
Callie Unknown, do you have a YouTube channel where you post videos or anything like that, or Twitter or anything like that? Let us know. I'm interested. I prefer civilian journalists or journalists that expose things versus mainstream media. Mainstream media is only there to sell you what they've been told. Not all, but a lot of it.
Touch on all the different young adults and young teens that were part of the Kiely Rodni case.
So, moving on to Kylie's friends first. The big question that has been bugging me from the very beginning is Maddie Wicks. So, there was an early news article which came out, which was an interview with Maddie Wicks, I believe. And it actually...
I'm going to just chime in here for a second, and then I'll rewind this and let her speak. It's odd to me that all these people saw Kylie Rodney at this party or knew whatever, like some details, whatever, but nobody can describe what she's wearing other than Sammy Smith. That's a bit sus to me.
Was an interview with Maddie Wicks, I believe. And it actually showed a photo of her sitting in a chair. And in that article, it basically states that Maddie Wicks was the person that Lindsay contacted the morning after the party to find out where Kylie was, because Kylie wasn't home.
I think
and that it was Maddie Wicks
she was supposed to go
who volunteered to then head out to the campsite or the party.
Yep. I remember this article.
Who volunteered to then head out to the campsite or the party site and look for Kylie. It's just one article. Might have been Moonshine Inc. or Sacramento Bee. I'm not sure.
I think it's one or the other.
It was one article where it clearly identified.
I think it might have been Sac Bee.
Maddie Wicks, who went looking for Kylie, having been contacted by Lindsay. Anyway, moving on. Within a few days, that whole story became Lindsay contacted a dear friend of Kylie's, who then went out looking for Kylie. And people presumed, just because of the way things were being covered in the media and the discussions that were going along, that it was actually Mags who went out looking for Kylie that morning.
I think it's possible that it's still in confusing for me, because you have Mags that says she was driving for 9 hours looking for her the first day. But I do believe that Maddie, Mags, Kate, and Jagger were the only ones that really looked for Kylie.
Mags, who went out looking for Kylie that morning.
In my opinion.
So my question is, what happened between that initial interview?
Put this up for a change.
With Maddie Wicks going, yeah, hey, it was me. I volunteered to actually go look for Kylie when Lindsay contacted me and asked where she was.
Love you, girl. Get some sleep.
What happened between that and then the whole information being put out that it was a dear friend of Kylie's who went looking, and then people were just allowed to assume that it was Mags, and all of a sudden,
it seems like they left everything open.
Forgotten.
It's like they left everything open for speculation. And the only person that at one point it became that Sammy was the only one willing to put her name next to everything. Like nobody, it's odd to me that Sammy threw Jagger's name out there, threw Mag's name out there, but she ain't saying any other names. She ain't saying who gave her a ride home, who the 3 people were in the car. Like it's odd to me the way that they released all this information, and then they were like, be a bootlicker just because we said it's an accident, you have to believe it. And then if you look at the autopsy, there's no water in her lungs. I just
people
don't take anybody's word
allowed
for it.
to assume that it was Mags, and all of a sudden Maddie Wicks is just forgotten.
Yeah,
we heard from her at the Country for Kylie thing, I think it was, where she got up on stage with Sammy and all that.
Jagger was looking because he came to Truckee as soon as he found out. And then you can see pictures. People took pictures of them, of 3 and 4 of them. There's multiple different pictures of them at Prosser. So,
and she did a little interview there as well, and hoping that this music will bring Kylie home. But that's all we saw of her throughout the entire case up until the point when Kylie was found. The thing that I find really interesting about this is, and this goes back to one of the really, really early videos that Ara did in relation to the Kylie Rodney case, where Ara pointed out about the Maddie Wicks article.
I love Miss Ara.
And that it was Maddie Wicks who had gone searching. And then in that same video, when she pointed out that it was Maddie that went searching, Ara questioned the way that Sammy, in her interview with Tony Dodge, spoke about Kylie's friend, Mags. And then she stumbled around it and was like Magdalene Larson.
I know, she said her name 3 times, 3 different ways.
I thought it was a really, really good point that Ara made.
Yep.
And Ara, if you're out there and you've still got your video,
yep,
I think it'd be really cool for you to revisit that.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
The point that Ara made was the way Sammy said it was just really odd. The way she kind of stumbled around saying Magdalene Larson, and the way she clarified it all. And Ara's question was Sammy meaning to say Maddie? And then switched it to Mags.
And that's why there's so much speculation out here.
And was it intentional?
Nothing was ever
there
clarified.
A reason
Nothing.
Why we're not supposed to know anything about Maddie's involvement in the case?
Because they're afraid somebody might ask them questions and they might answer it. That's why.
Accusations against Maddie. I just find it really curious.
She sure did, Tiff.
That she put herself out there.
Well, yeah, because Sammy said that she was being driven from the passenger seat. So
pretty much day one.
Slippages.
And then she got pushed behind and hidden behind Sammy and Mags.
Yep.
I don't know what it means. It may mean nothing. It may just mean that her parents decided they wanted to protect her from all the media exposure. I don't know. I haven't got the answers for that, but it's something that has bugged me from the very beginning.
Sure does. Everything.
Another name, which came up early on in the piece and then has been forgotten and swept away, is Steve Ross, Mag's boyfriend. I know Ross isn't actually his real surname, and I can't remember what it is at the moment.
Greenberger.
Mag's boyfriend, Steve. We're told that Mags went to the party with Kylie, hung around for about half an hour, and then left with Steve.
And then at another time it's 10 minutes, at another time it's 15 minutes. Like they're never.
I find curious.
None of their answers stay the same, and that's how it looks like a lie. Because when you're telling a story, like the truth never changes. And then if you look at all of these stories, how everything has a different, like a different item of clothing, a different time frame, an amount of kids, like all of it, like none of it is consistent. The only thing that was consistent is that her phone location turned off just after midnight, and that her phone was hard shut down and out of service just shortly after midnight. So that's the only things that have ever been fully confirmed by law enforcement and FBI.
Now here's the thing that I find curious.
And they wonder why people speculate on it.
According to the Truckee local, who's not always reliable, but she seemed quite confident at the time when she said this. She said that Steve was already at the party when Mags and Kylie arrived, and that he then left with
Don't know how
Mags.
reliable
She
that
said that
is.
in her big, long Michelle Sutton thing. I will find that at one point and go back over that.
Hell yeah.
So why was Mags talking about people trying to force bong rips on her without her boyfriend present? If her boyfriend was actually present.
I don't know what
That's
they
the
were trying
first
to
thing.
force on her, or if
And
she knew something was in
did
the
that
weed.
really
I
happen?
don't know. I really don't know.
Were people really going up to a teenage girl and trying to force her to take bong rips? I wouldn't say force. Maybe people were offering them to her. Maybe there was a bit peer pressure, you know, go on, you know you want to. But I wouldn't call
No
that
idea.
forcing. But like I said, who knows? There's some really weird stories around this case.
Only these
So who
people can
knows what the
clarify it,
real
you know?
story is with the bong rips.
But it seems
But
nobody wants to clarify anything.
without my boyfriend present, it was just really weird the way Mags said that. Like,
it is
it
very weird.
counted
Stays in
somehow
my mind as well.
that these other boys were trying to force bong rips on her
Oop.
without her boyfriend present. It was just really, really weird. And then we hear accounts of him already being at the party when Mags and Kylie arrived. So what's the real story there? And the other question I have with this, Steve, is that in one of Zavgirl's videos, there was a video that was played of a fight which allegedly occurred at the party. And I do need to be able to find that and go back over it. But I can picture it really, really clearly. It was a fight, and there were a bunch of boys all standing around
The
cheering
one with
on.
Elsa's brother.
And amongst that bunch of boys standing around cheering on was this Steve guy. So if that fight video was actually from the party, and
how was he
Steve
there?
was standing there, was that a fight that happened in the first 30 minutes before Mags left? Was it a fight that happened later on in the party and Steve had come back? Did Mags leave with Steve like we're supposed to believe? Did both of them leave? Did one of them leave? Did neither of them leave?
Were they ever there, or did
I don't know. That's a
I have so many
question
questions.
that I have.
Yep.
And it's something that I'd like to see some other content creators look at for sure.
I just, with that whole story, like, you have a story that she was there for 10 minutes. You have a story there she was there for 15 minutes. You have a story there that she was there for a half an hour. But, like, also some of the details she says is either hearsay from Sammy or somebody else, or it's possible she stayed longer. I don't understand how nothing was ever clarified. Even if you were asking like law enforcement, and look at the community meetings, look at the deleted community meetings, all of these questions that were asked to law enforcement, and they just kind of like dodged around them and answered them in such odd ways that never really clarifies the questions being asked.
I'd like to see some other content creators look at for sure. Like I said, there's a video that Zavgirl did that shows a fight, and you can see Steve there.
Yeah, I just watched that one the other
cheering
day.
on as part of the crowd.
I've been revisiting a lot of Zavgirl's lives.
So I'm just curious.
Me too.
He may have had nothing to do with anything that occurred at the party.
I can't remember off the top of my head, Allie. I could look at the timeline.
And I'm just going to move straight on to Mags, since I'm already talking about her with Steve. But I think,
hold on 1 second, I'll get the answer for you.
Definitely at the party. I don't believe she was involved in whatever happened to Kylie. I did find it interesting. There was one comment made in a news article. It was either a news article or it was a media interview, where she commented that their parents decided that they would be friends, as in her and Kylie. And then apparently they became best friends. And I've got...
So that story would have happened between 12:30 at the mass exodus and 12:33 with the Snapchat data shows the ping in the same location as the campground. That's the only answer I have for you.
No doubt that they were. Best
And
friends or very close
that
friends?
answer is per the kids and Truckee locals making their statements.
There was a
Yeah, no, the
post made by
FBI isn't
Mag's
going to tell us
parents
shit until
that
they
was
have
a
a solid,
photo of
solid
Mags
case.
and Kylie together. Oh, Mags, did I say Mag's
It does
parents?
seem like
Mag's
a bunch of
grandparents.
alibis, yeah.
That was of Mags and Kylie together, a few years younger. And they captioned it along the lines of them being devastated because their granddaughter's best friend had passed away. So I think even if originally Mags and Kylie hadn't become friends out of their own choice, I think that they had become close friends, possibly best friends, who knows.
Max and Kylie were friends for a long, long time.
I really feel that
Because
the
they're,
reactions
well,
that
I'm
we
gonna pause
see
this.
from Mags when
Because Mags and Kylie are both seen in multiple pictures when they were younger, both singing and doing art projects, and they're in classrooms, like they're at some sort of school or some type of facility where they're partaking in artistic activities, music, stuff like that. So I do believe Mags and Kylie were friends for a very long time.
possibly best friends, who knows.
But I'd like to know if they kind of
I
drifted
really
apart
feel
later.
that the reactions that we
I
see
really
from
don't know.
Mags when she's talking to the media, they strike me as trauma reactions. Like I said, I don't think Mags was involved.
No, I don't either.
But I think that she knew.
I think they told her, shut the fuck up.
And whatever it was
Sammy's going to take it from here for you.
Was utterly devastating for her and traumatizing for her. I may be wrong because I've never had a friend.
If I knew some fucky shit was going down and my child wasn't at the party but was best friends with the missing girl, knowing how they do their autopsies and such, how they investigate certain cases, I'd have got my kid out of the country too. But Kate wasn't the only one that left.
A teenage friend just go missing, but it seemed like a huge reaction.
And it's possible Kate left
someone
for school.
Whose friend was just missing.
We don't know.
It seemed like a far deeper reaction, like she believed that her friend was no longer around. It's not something I've ever experienced. It's not something that I'm an expert to speak on.
Mags was definitely traumatized, so
I do think that Mags knew what happened. And it breaks my heart to think that this poor girl is trying to live with this horrible secret.
I couldn't imagine it.
And I don't know how she must be just getting by in life. Those kind of secrets just don't leave you alone.
Yeah,
I
Leslie,
imagine.
this one, yes. Yep.
And if she knows of something truly
well, and if you watch the woman that's like walking around with the mic, the way that she's like side-eyeing people because they have questions, and then if you look at the crowd, there's not that many teens there. And this was supposed to be a meeting for them to talk to the kids and talk to the community and stuff. And then like watching the way that the lady is with the microphone is treating all the people with the questions, the way she's snatching mics, giving them stink eye. And then, yeah, like anybody that asked logical questions, the way that they were like gaslit or the way that their questions were ignored. There,
horrible that happened to her dear friend, that's going to eat away at her forever.
I hope Mags is doing well.
And perhaps she's too scared to speak out.
I hear
perhaps
she is,
when she's 30 or 40, she's going to be hating herself for not speaking out.
Yeah, that was Joe, I think.
I
was
just
his
hope
name.
that there's someone
or Jody,
close to her,
Jody Sweet, Mr. Sweet,
who can give
shirt,
her the emotional support that she needs. And if she does know something and it is weighing at her, I really hope that she can find
Yeah,
the
we'll
strength
talk to you in the back afterwards. That was
to
crazy.
speak out, because it is going to eat away at her. It's never going to go away. It would have to be one of
For
the most
real, dude. I
horrible
love this.
secrets to have to hide. To know that someone did something to a dear friend of yours and be unable to speak out. That's just my thoughts on Mags anyway. There's nothing that suggests to me that she had any sort of nefarious intent.
No.
Although I am going to point out that outdoors press release that they did, and there's lots of video footage of the various teams. There is a very distinct injury on Mag's leg. Doesn't necessarily mean that she was there or that she was involved.
No, it could have been from hiking,
but
that could have been from anything. Like, that's
definitely
why I don't focus on
Mags
their
is one of the
bruises. But
teens
Sammy and all the writing on her to
who
cover up her marks
had
is very
injuries
sus.
following Kylie's disappearance. I think it is important to note here, though, that apparently Mags lived quite close
me either,
to
Wendy.
Sammy Smith. I think that's significant. And we did see Mags with Sammy a few times doing interviews.
Yeah, he did, Zombie Girl.
There is definitely a history between those two girls.
He not only asked about Hobart Mills, but he also asked about the vehicle that was spotted, like, in a tree or in the water or something, right off Coldstream. Yeah, he asked a lot of good questions.
It's
that they deflected from.
Not a stretch to ask if perhaps Sammy used Mags.
Maybe Wednesday we will revisit the deleted community meetings. How about that?
To get Kylie to the party. That's been put forward a few times by people. And you know what? It is a possibility. Perhaps Mags was caught between two friends. If you grow up down the road from someone, maybe you do become good friends with them. Maybe she was friends with Sammy and Kylie. And maybe she got caught in the middle. And maybe she was used to lure Kylie to the
stepping
party.
stone.
That would explain her leaving after only half an hour if she didn't want to be at the party. So I certainly can't criticise the theory that Mags was used to get Kylie to the party by Sammy, because we know that there is definitely a history there between Mags and Sammy.
And it's just crazy because
they live very close together.
Sammy says that she was supposed to get a ride from Kylie, but then it turns out like Mags did it. Is it possible that Kylie and Mags didn't even go to the party together? I don't know. I really don't know. There's no clarification whatsoever.
We've seen that they are friends. I don't know.
It's just odd that Sammy and Kylie were supposed to go together, and they were also supposed to leave together, and neither of those happened. That's crazy, you know? What up, Miss Zara?
I don't know if they're still friends now. It'd be interesting to find out. But definitely, Mags has those links with Sammy and Kylie. Definitely makes you wonder. So, let's talk about Kylie's friend Kate. And I'll keep this pretty brief.
If anybody wants to come on panel, you're more than welcome to.
It's become pretty clear that Kate comes from quite a Christian family. Her family go to church every week.
Yep,
Kate
I think they're well-rounded people
every week, and she's highly involved with her church.
Yes.
I've heard it said by multiple locals that Kate is not the sort of girl who would have gone to one of those parties, and she probably wouldn't have been allowed to go to one of those parties.
That's what I'm thinking too.
it just wouldn't have been her thing. Sounds like she was a good girl.
Mhm.
And
I think her parents were present in her life.
I know people criticise her heading off to Europe around the time that Kylie was missing.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, but again, we can assume why she left. Is it possible it was for school? Yes.
I think that was her parents protecting her.
Yep.
I truly believe that Kate had nothing to do with whatever happened to Kylie.
Same.
I believe that she wasn't at the party.
No, I don't either.
There's never been anyone come forward to suggest that she could have been at the party. And like I said, she has a reputation in the area as being the good girl from the Christian family.
Yep.
Who just wouldn't involve herself in those kind of parties. Which, of course, goes to the creme brulee comment. Because I know people had a lot of fun commenting on were they making the creme brulee as in some sort of alcohol.
I don't even really judge her creme brulee. It's an odd thing to say, one. But giving the status of Kate and her family, like people with money do, I mean, that's creme brulee is yummy.
Or was it something to do?
And you have to remember that Kylie's mom, Lindsay, states over and over and over and over again how much Kylie loved baking. If you see the Instagram page where she does like the whole sciencey stuff, like you can also see like some of her sides of her of the things that she enjoyed, from baking to earth stuff. I mean, yeah.
Do with MJ.
I could see Kylie being like, look, let's make creme brulee today. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't find anything sus in that.
Did they genuinely make creme
It's odd
brulee?
Out of all the statements to be made, you know, but I mean, at least she could confirm, hey, yes, Kylie was with me up until about 4 o'clock. After that, I have no idea. I would love to know what she was wearing when she was with Kate, though.
And I think when you think about it, we heard from Lindsay that Kylie liked to cook.
Yep.
And of course, you know, this is a kid that grew up in the backcountry. She was stuck at home for so many months of the year when they were snowed in. So she would have learnt to cook.
Yep.
And yeah, sure, creme brulee is apparently complicated. I've never tried to make it. And personally, I don't like creme brulee, so I'm not going to try and make it. But I can imagine.
I mean, creme brulee, you can make various versions of it.
Learning how
it could take anywhere between 30 minutes and a couple hours, depending on, I mean, what recipe you use.
How to make creme brulee would just be sort of part of the course. So, and I think when we look at when we look at Kate and consider her as being the good Christian girl who wasn't that much into parties, didn't go to parties,
CB,
etc. I actually think that creme brulee was just that, creme brulee.
Mm-hmm.
That they were making themselves creme brulee, the dessert.
Yep.
Full stop, end of story. I think, I know people.
The way that news media will interview somebody, okay, and we see it happen time and time and time again. They don't ever release full interviews unless it's like with the family or whatever, but they heavily edit this stuff down. So it's just odd to me that out of all the conversation with Jagger and Kate, that they used the statement they did for Jagger and they used the statement they did for Kate. Like, there's definitely more to their statements, to their accounts and all of those things, but that is what mainstream media chose to put out there.
Had a go at that whole interview, the Jagger.
Oh, what are you doing, baby? I miss you so much.
How are you?
Good, honey. How are you doing?
I'm good too. I'm good. I'm listening to you. I'm just here with you. I'm here with you.
I'm just blabbering along as she talks and states her stuff. But yeah, I have so many questions still, and it's insane to me that law enforcement from the jump never clarified anything. Like everything was either listen to what we say or it's fake news.
Or it's no news. They just didn't talk about it.
Yeah. Yep. True that too.
And Kate interview. But we're talking about a 16-year-old girl. Kate was Kylie's age. Kate and Kylie had gone to school together. So she was still quite young when Kylie went missing. Think back to when you were 16.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you were trying to do an interview with a major news channel. Would you be super cool and able to say exactly?
Well, I'm gonna pause this right here. But that's the thing, Ninja. If you think about it, they're not going to drive clear out to Reno with a news station to make a 20-second statement. You see what I'm saying? Like, I believe that there is a lot more to that conversation, and that's what they chose to clip
Also,
down.
check it out. Like these kids, they opted to do these interviews. Yes. Nobody chased them down. Jagger didn't chase people. He's like, hey, come over. Kate was with him. Kate allowed herself to be interviewed. You remember? Kate, Max. Nobody forced them to do this. So if from what I understand, they took the initiative and say, hey, yeah, go ahead and film me and do all this and that, whatever, right? People that are shy don't do that. They don't do that.
And there was a reason behind why they went to Reno to
they came forward
that
for a reason, and they're not shy kids, and I mean, I can't sympathize with them too much because they willingly went on a news station and okayed this and said whatever they said for whatever reason. Matter of fact is they're not like shy little children.
Well, and then it's really odd how, I mean, technically Jagger and Kate took the news media out of state to have a conversation, you know. And then if you think about the location, which is that park at Arrow Creek Parkway, that park is right before the gates at the gated community. I feel that there's a message in there. Yeah, I feel that there's a message in there that we're just kind of not getting yet, you know. Because it's really odd. You're telling me that they couldn't be interviewed from a park or the rec center or any of those things in Truckee. Like they drove 35 to 45 minutes to Reno Arrow Creek Parkway to be interviewed. It's very, I'm not saying
was staged,
but it's odd.
But remember, it could have been the news station that would have wanted that dramaticism. Maybe they said, we'll drive you, you know, for like film production reasons.
Yeah.
I see that.
And then also we have to understand that Kate and Jagger were out that way putting up flyers as well.
Right. But again, like those shy people aren't going to like be a part of this big film production. Notice how there were no parents around. So take that into consideration. They're not like innocent little kids. Like, oh my God, Jagger was making posts about it on Instagram, you know?
At the time of the interview, wasn't Kate a minor?
How old? I don't know how old she was.
Wasn't she 17 at the time? I don't know. I'm not too certain, but if she's a minor and they interviewed her out of state, I mean.
I don't know that much information, but okay, you make up some valid points though. Yeah.
It's just, and it's very odd. Like if you look at the timeline, there's so many gaps in this timeline from the time that Kylie left Reno to Kylie getting back to Truckee to Kylie hanging out with her pap, even the gap between Pap and Kate, and then the gap between Kate, Mags, and the party. Like, and then they tried to fill it in with this picture that just, it doesn't look like Kylie. Okay. Nothing about it says Kylie.
And remember that you guys were talking about creme brulee, right? So creme brulee, like I think you mentioned it, does not take 30 minutes. It's a process.
So it is a process. You can make it quickly and like garbage in 30 minutes, but like I said, the process of creme brulee is you're talking.
And that's assuming we're talking about the baked like the thing we eat, right? A lot of people assume that it's like weed
Well, and
or whatever.
I see, and that's the thing is like there is an alcoholic beverage, there is a weed strain that is creme brulee, but if you actually think about Kylie's background, the
She
type
loves
of girls
baking.
the type of
She
girls that
baked.
Kylie and Kate were, yes, they loved
love to
baking
bake.
together.
That's why
That
I
was
get
their
it. It's
thing.
creme brulee was okay, but even that would take hours. So basically, Saturday morning, Kylie saw mom and said, "I'm not going to the party." They went to Kate's and made creme brulee, and then hung out with Max, and then went to a party all in one day.
Busy ass kids, huh?
It's weird,
busy.
right? Like
busy, huh?
Very busy. Yes.
But I also remember when I was younger and I had just got my license, and like I drove all the hell over myself too, so I really can't say anything, you know.
So exactly, right? We can all like we all can relate to either story.
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
crazy thing.
Because I would go from one friend's house to the mall to another friend's house to my house to, you know what I mean, cook or bake or feed somebody. Then we would go out to like the park or go out to a river. You know what I mean? It was just all day activities, especially in the summertime. So that's why I don't find anything suspicious about Kate nor Mags. I just don't.
I hear you.
Right things. It would be really hard. It would be really scary. So I really don't read anything into the things that Kate said in that interview. And I really don't think there's any need for us to look at Kate, which is why I've never done anything on Kate and why
Well, and I mean, looking early on how people were trying to get us involved in the rumors that her shirt was dirty and this and that. And like, you can clearly tell that it is an acid wash tie-dye shirt.
Well, it doesn't even matter. Kate doesn't really matter in this story. I mean, she does because she was interviewed with Jagger. And I remember that you and I would have conversations about like how weird it was that it was both of them, right? We went through all the theories. So I think going through theories is fine, whatever. We don't know what happened. So we can't say yes or for sure, don't do this or don't look at that, you know. It's all like
the only thing that I look at when it comes to like Kate is her testimony. And her testimony is her and Kylie were really good friends. Her and Kylie were together that day, roughly till 4 p.m.
I think that Kate knows stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like she does know more than she's saying, just like Max.
I think the majority of them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all.
And I think, well, and you got the parents telling the kids not to get involved. You got people telling the kids to be quiet.
Right.
You
Which
know,
is not normal.
Let Sammy handle it all.
As a reminder, not normal.
It's not normal. It's definitely not normal. I've never seen a case play out to where
reiterating, not normal.
You have the last person,
controlling the narrative.
Somebody controlling the narrative, running the investigation, taking in the tips, filtering that information. Like I've never in my life
seen control are you gonna give the last person to see somebody?
Right?
Like who really have you all not seen this movie already? You know,
dude. And I look when she said and laughed about it, and they all clapped for her. I'll take your name to jail, dude. Like I was gutted.
No, yeah, exactly. Like what do you mean? Well, whose name? I thought that nothing bad happened
about that statement.
Yeah, I thought nothing bad happened. So what's there to take to the grave?
Like at one point she tries to say like how scary it was, so scary, it was so scary, but then at another time she says it was so boring. Like which one is it? Like there's so many different narratives, and it's their fault that people still continue to speculate on it because nothing was ever clarified. I am not going to just take somebody's word for it. I'm not going to get down and lick anybody's boots because this is what this says. Just because that autopsy says accidental drowning on it, if you actually read the autopsy, you get a little clarity on Kylie not having water in her lungs, you know?
And also the science BT, it supports accidental drowning. There's actually no way to tell accidental drowning. That's what I did the video about the fucking coroner. Come on.
And just like Draw Latina, Cass thinks, you yourself have all said, like, there is no exclusion done to show how they excluded anything to
And it's
come
difficult
up
to
with the
tell
drowning.
what is accidental drowning. That there's no science really. It's just like a fallback answer.
Well, yeah, so nobody gets in trouble. They don't want to get anybody else in trouble. Remember, Lindsay said that. We don't want to get anybody else in trouble.
Yeah. We want to protect everybody. Parents telling their children not to speak.
This
There's
is not
no
fair to the victim.
transparency. So then Kylie's case gets no transparency. But all these cases since Kylie, we've seen solved, kids missing, found, like deaths explained, children being saved.
Yes.
And like Kylie, no answers, quiet even. Except SF today decided to talk about Kylie.
Yeah, that was
on
insane.
Twitter.
That's insane. That's a bold statement to say that he was the investigator on the case.
He was the investigator for Kylie. There you go. And he put out the fucking fire cam shit.
But he's not even licensed in California. And I don't care if he was doing it pro bono. He said over and over and over again, I wasn't there to investigate anything. I was there to volunteer for the search.
Oh,
like,
okay.
So many contradictions in everybody from SF to Megan to just statements from everybody. Like there's so much contradictory statements there. And that's why we continue to go over it, because nobody, especially law enforcement, didn't do their due diligence, do their jobs, and clarify things.
Yep.
And then my concern is why they never addressed the whole tow truck Nick thing.
Agreed. Red flag. That's a red flag.
It is. There's
even to come out and say that is incorrect. They could have come out and said that is false information. But they didn't even do that. They didn't do anything.
No. Didn't even address it, did they? Other than one little news article. Well, I can't forget.
Me neither. And that's what people don't like
what
about
happened to Kylie Rodney and the way that her case played out and all that.
Or just say it then. Just say Nick tow truck guy is false information. Then if there was authorities come out and say it, I will believe them then.
No, there was no press conference, the final press conference to talk about the autopsy findings or toxicology, like none of that.
But do we not get that with every other case in this world?
Yes.
So what?
And then I think about like Jalissa Fuentes and the way that her case played out and how we got all of these surveillance footages and all of these things. Like you didn't get any of that with Kylie. It's insane to me.
And then everyone that talks about Kylie is getting attacked on YouTube.
So now he can speak on it because I didn't hear he was a PI in California. I just heard that he was a certified diver, search and rescue there.
Oh, now that's good for him.
I don't know about that, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. But I didn't hear that he's licensed in California. I just heard that he was search and rescue certified in California. That's what he said himself.
So the lead investigator gets to come out and the lead, is that what he is? SF. He gets to like put out the fire cam footage. Doesn't have to explain why he got it or how he got it or why police didn't have it or why police didn't use that to help find Kylie. Like 2 days later, they could have found Kylie 2 days later if they would have looked at that footage.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like,
wouldn't government know that that's available?
They knew enough based upon the movements of the camera footage, both Alder Hill and Donner Hill. They knew that something was there when they turned Alder Hill that morning after the mist lifted, before you could see anything going on at Prosser. They turned Alder Hill. And then when you look at the Donner cam, how they turned it later in that evening. It's just very odd to me.
You seem very sure of that.
They waited 2 months to let a YouTuber, like all of this information was released on YouTube. None of this was ever addressed in the media by law enforcement or people with status. It's insane to me. And then they all on YouTubers, yet y'all are the one that let this all be on YouTube.
Exactly.
Instead of clarifying anything as professionals. It's heartbreaking for Kylie.
Well, every other case gets clarification and then people can comment on this. But Kylie just like, it was just poof, go away.
Yeah. Here's your final answer, deal with it.
Yes.
Accept it. And it's like, no, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. After reading that autopsy and seeing so much pointed out in it. Hearing medical examiners, medical doctors, science people studying science and stuff like that. The more I listen to people with actual professional status, I mean, even if you just listen to a forensic specialist that is retired, like Ed Wallace, and what he says about the extraction.
Everybody agrees that the car should not have been flipped.
No, it should not have been. Nope. What? Cedar, cherry, maple, mahogany? What are we talking about? Wood, plywood? What?
Crane says, I dropped the proof in Discord, Shannon Ada.
All right, thank you.
Generally don't see people talking about Kate these days. There's nothing to suggest that she had any kind of involvement whatsoever. So, Jagger. For the most part, I've not really thought that much about Jagger. Sometimes I stop and question and think maybe he was a little bit more involved than we all think. I question the photo that he was driving around with on his dash. To me, that says he does know something. But I always go back to thinking that this kid was just a confused 18-year-old boy full of testosterone, trying to figure out who he is in life. And I think he genuinely was in love with Kylie still. And I don't think he was at the party. I know there is one news report where it says
Which one,
something
Crane?
about him saying
This
before
one?
he left the party, don't do anything stupid. But that same reporter was the Fox News reporter who screwed up other information, like saying that Jagger and Kylie were still boyfriend and girlfriend, which they weren't. And we know that. We have that from several sources, from multiple sources, that they were not boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, and look, from multiple sources, which include actual friends of Kylie, they said Sammy and Kylie were not really friends. And I believe that. Because I ain't seen one picture on any of Sammy's social media, not one video that show her and Kylie doing any type of camping, any type of
Even
hiking,
at the party,
any
there's
type
no
of hanging out. Like, none.
If Sam
No
was with
proof that
Kylie
they
the
were
whole
ever
time, you
friends.
don't think they would have taken one picture together?
Right?
Because I was at rehearsal today, and one of the band directors, I was like, "Oh, let's take a selfie together." We just took a selfie. Like, people do that, and these kids are little. They took a selfie together. Nobody.
Absolutely.
So Sam never had a selfie with Kylie. Okay.
Like, friends take pictures of friends, and then if you look at their social medias, like, you can see how much they document them hanging out with their friends.
Yeah.
You can see all the pictures that Kylie's actual friends took of her throughout their friendships. It's very odd to me that Sammy has none of those since she's been friends with her in the past year to coming months recently, you know?
Has no friendship. That's a lie.
Not
Friends
one.
into the coming
Not
months.
one.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Like, it was a
You met her
backpedal in
the day
real
before,
time.
bitch. I
A
know.
real time backpedal.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to Jagger, the extent of his involvement, as you would say it, would be more along the lines of
he just wanted to help find his love.
Teenagers or young adults talking amongst themselves, and him being aware or having heard of what occurred. I don't think he had any involvement whatsoever.
Nope.
And I think, when you hear him talk about her early on in the piece about how he taught her self-defense and how she knew the roads, she wouldn't.
And you know what?
Go ahead. Get it, girl.
That's interesting because he doesn't say, like, I knew she wasn't going to drive drunk. He says, I taught her how to defend herself. So in this situation, he talks about how he taught Kylie to defend herself in his mind, he thinks that she would have probably gotten herself in a sticky situation, like a fight situation, and she would have been able to defend herself. Notice how he talks about it in that aspect instead of like running away, killing herself, or being abducted, or
Yep.
He's like, if someone's gonna pick a fight on her, she's gonna be able to defend herself.
Well, and then if you hear Kate's statement that when she saw her, nothing seemed amiss. Like she seemed her normal self. She didn't seem depressed. She didn't seem none of these things, you know?
Creme brulees. And then Jagger talks about fighting.
Yep.
Being able to defend herself.
Like all of these
Not
people have said how Kylie grew up in the backwoods, the mountains, knew survivalist. She knew how to take care of herself, handle herself, you know what I mean? Do all of these things. And we're supposed to just believe that all of these things that are against what Kylie
into the
is
water. Oopsies.
Yeah. No.
Like oopsies.
No.
Oopsies. I didn't know this was here.
When you look at the autopsy and they forgot to include water in her lungs or proof that she drowned, it's concerning.
Yep.
No, and that's the thing is I don't think Kylie would have went down without a fight. I think whoever, if this fight did happen, whoever Kylie fought with, marks were left.
Not this time. Not this time. We all, sometimes people would fight over who won, but not this time. Oh, okay. What does that mean, bitch? Sorry.
And there's multiple people that said there were multiple fights there that night. Multiple.
You don't think that someone would have picked a fight? We all know this is a Fight Club situation. And I really am astonished by how many people fight that.
I mean, there's video after video of both males and females fighting with each other. Like, look at that one girl. It said something about she would annihilate somebody if she fought them, you know?
Yeah. And they have gloves in their car. We have boxing cars in our car. You know, if someone gets hurt, we have someone on them. Like clearly they have already referees. They have equipment. This is like a pastime for them.
And then when you have teens and young adults that have nothing to do after dark on the weekend, and it's known that they throw these little pop-up parties all over Boca, all over Prosser, all over the Tahoe region, you know? There's no denying that they throw these parties where they have these little fight clubs, you know?
Bish. I said bitch, not bish. But like Ara said bish. Sorry. Say it like.
In my opinion, Jagger loved Kylie and taught her how to defend herself and get her out of sticky situations. Yeah, that is what he said. Quoted.
But
verbatim.
Fighting. Why teach her how to fight?
I mean, when I grew up, my older brothers taught me how to fight. You know, how to defend yourself.
I didn't. I was not taught, unfortunately.
I'm sorry. You want me to teach you how to defend yourself?
Dude, I honestly want to know what it's like to punch somebody because I've never actually punched anybody. And like, I don't know what it's like to like, imagine like putting your full force onto some, I cannot imagine that. Like, to me, that's fascinating. I could not, you know what I mean?
When I was younger, like at this point, like I ain't trying to do nothing unless it's called defending myself, you know?
But like, I could not see myself like literally putting so much weight on my hand to hurt their face. But it's so interesting to me. But maybe if I get angry enough, maybe I'll do it. But that's so crazy. I want to know.
That just reminded me. Remember how they all said we don't. There's no blows above like the shoulders or whatever. We never hit in the face. And then all their videos are of them hitting in the face and shit like that.
Those kids are all high and shit. You know that.
They're just play fights. Sammy said it. They were just play fights. Nobody ever gets hit in the face and shit. And like all the videos are them hitting each other in the face.
Yeah, but if someone gets hurt, we have someone on them. Who? Like, do you hire these
scary,
people?
Yeah,
like,
like who's there? Who's on them?
From the football team at your high school, like the athletic. Like,
you got people making statements like if something happened to her, they would just set her off to the side. Yikes, dude. All right, I'm gonna hit one.
Go for it.
Been
sorry.
driving thing. all that sort of stuff. I think, yeah, I really cannot see him having any involvement. And I also think that he has dropped little clues here and there along the way, which show that he knows something. And I think for some reason, like Kate, he can't speak up.
Reem,
So I
a
really
lot
hope
of
that kid
people,
is okay.
I've never heard that, but a lot of people were given the link to the raw files.
Must be hard being a young adult, starting out in the world with all that hovering over you and all that behind you.
Which is odd that people would be handed out like stuff like their fire cams, but we don't even get, like, we got fire cam video, but we couldn't even get a surveillance. Like, that's what's crazy to me. Is any other case you get surveillance footage, like full on surveillance footage, and we got a picture of a screen of a already poor quality video.
Yes,
odd. It's odd.
Yes,
That's about all I'm going to say on Jagger, because
I want them to show us how they got to accident. By law, they're supposed to.
Complicated. I think plenty of people have had plenty of discussions about Jagger anyway. I don't think I can add anything insightful to the conversation when it comes to Jagger, other than saying that I don't believe he was there when whatever happened to Kylie happened.
No, he has an alibi. He passed his lie
And
detector.
perhaps he didn't even know straight away.
All
I don't
three
know.
of them.
When you look at that Fox 40 interview, him and Kate seemed pretty calm about things. So I'm wondering if at that point in time, perhaps they didn't know what had happened. When you compare the way they were acting to the way Mags was, and they were like teens who were somewhat baffled because their friend was missing.
Well, yeah, and then if you look at Kate when she was on like the news footage while Sammy's doing her twirls and stuff like that, like, you can often see Kate side eyeing people. Like, it's very telling.
Just a thought. So, some of the other teens. Let's talk about Evan. Only briefly. We've never actually heard directly from Evan. The only time we've heard anything about Evan has been directly from Megan.
Yeah.
Claiming that he was parked next to Kylie's car.
And for all we know, that could be a lie too.
I think
we don't
nearly
know.
every account she's given has had different times that she's offered. Different accounts of him going to sleep in his car and not.
And that's why I continue to go back on what she says, especially on my panel.
And then Kylie was gone. Then at one point, she changed that story to saying that, well, the reason he didn't know that Kylie had left was because he was somewhere else involved in a fight, and that when he got back, Kylie was gone. So I don't know. I am going to say
so many different contradictions.
In my opinion, having not heard from anybody else,
you can't do that,
right?
About anything in relation to Evan. And also, there's a few times when Megan has changed that narrative.
John, you're talking about STEM KB?
Philip or one of those boys. So I think with no other information from anywhere else in relation to Evan, that I just don't.
Hi, Melissa.
Yeah, I'm just not really strong on anything in relation to him, or at least not on the stuff that Megan has said. Maybe he was at the party.
Does anybody have contact with SF now? Because honestly, sometimes I want to just cut the shit. I just want to cut the bullshit. And I just because SF has been on many channels, just like our Truckee local, like they've made their rounds,
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Interesting. Also, who has made their rounds? Not okay. I need to step away from that. But regardless,
I mean, the people that made their rounds was SF, Megan,
I want to
Xana May,
ask him what
It.
made him look at those fucking camera footages, like the fucking fire cam shit.
How did he get access to them?
I want to know. Yes, I want to know how he got access to them. I want to know why police wasn't told about this, or if they were. I want to know the whole story about his ass being behind that shit coming out.
Yeah, because I don't know if STEM KB was trying to shout it from the rooftops and he got in contact with SF. I don't really know, but I do remember in the
dude.
I
Kylie
know, but
went missing in August.
I know, but in the
SF
very
comes out with him?
beginning, if you remember STEM KB, it was like late August, early September is when he started talking about like, what about the fire cams? What about the fire cams? Like he was very adamant about fire
But
cams that
local
nobody
law
knew
enforcement-
anything about.
Local law enforcement wasn't aware of this, like FBI, local law enforcement, sheriff,
Look,
like all these people
about it because they know those cameras are there. You know what I mean? That is one of the things that they would have looked at alongside all of their highway cameras, all of their license plate scanners, like the weigh station, the ag station.
Okay, so then why Kylie be missing until late August? They could have they had all this already.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like they had everything, including the last ping, to know where to look for her.
I don't understand why this is. Yes. Oh God.
Yeah. Yes. I don't understand either, honey. That's why I'm.
They had this. How did SF have this? Look, SF has been on every panel, right? Ever. Well, is there a way we can get him here, or like we should
I ain't
talk,
trying to talk to him
too?
He don't like me. He don't like the questions I ask him.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could try reaching out to him on Twitter, but yeah, he's got me blocked at this point.
Oh my goodness.
I think he still has me blocked. I'm not sure. I don't check. I don't go to his. I don't. Other than going to Knitter and going back to his old Kylie posts, I don't engage with that guy.
I hear that.
SF gives me gas. Leslie. Oh shit. It gives me heartburn.
Maybe he's the source of them saying that her last sighting was 1:30. If he was parked near her car.
Like there is zero transparency, zero disclosure,
honestly,
zero confirmation in this case.
Because, like I said, Megan keeps changing times and details when she talks about him. So it's hard to get a handle on anything to do with Evan. I'll briefly touch on Elsa, only because I'm going to do a review.
I'm gonna pause this right here. All these people claim to have seen Kylie in this fucked up state, but nobody did anything to make sure she got home safely. Everybody just left her ass behind. That's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? It's just like the parents told the kids don't get involved, and so their story was, yeah, we left her alone. She ain't our problem. Our problem was figuring out how we're getting home. Zero accountability at all in all of this case.
Yep.
And those at a later date. So I'm not going to go too heavily into Elsa, but I do want to point out that when she came forward as Jane Doe 1 or 2, whichever one it was, that some of the stuff she said.
Liberty, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mags and Maddie and a couple other people are who were supposed to meet Kylie at Starbucks at 9 o'clock that morning, and are the ones that contacted Lindsay possibly that she didn't show up. I have no idea. There again, yet again, nothing was clarified.
Exactly.
Just more information with no clarification. Why you have a mom making a post on August 7th to look for her car after 1:30 which means somebody told her, yeah, I saw her at, 1:15 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why would mom put out a statement? Why early on would they say, if you've seen her car after 1:30, look at your ring cams and all of these things? Like, clearly somebody had to have made a statement to law enforcement that they saw Kylie at 1:30 for that number to even be out there, or make a statement to the mom that they saw her at 1:30 for that to be out there. Yep. And then it dwindled back and the narrative changed to, because they're trying to paint the night's narrative. It went from 1:30 to 1 o'clock for, a couple days. And then they quickly all decided so that alibis all fit, that 12:30 is the last time anybody knows what was what with Kylie. And that was because of a ping.
Exactly. The ping is what made everybody's story wrong.
Yes, it absolutely is.
When the ping came out, then the 1:30 was no longer plausible.
No. And then you have
so
all of
people
these
retracted and they come forward anymore.
Yes.
You have all these people. That's why they fucking pulled back, Shan. Because when the fucking facts came out, all those stories about 1:30, 1 o'clock, no, they were bullshit. And that's why all those people retracted.
No, and that's the thing is, I don't think 1:30 was bullshit, is what it is.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, because the times changed, because whatever, something, they didn't match up. The people
like
that
you're telling me that Kylie is going to text her mom that she's going to leave in 45 minutes, and then around the time that Kylie's supposed to leave, Kylie turned her location off, and then hard shut down her phone a half an hour later? Absolutely.
And then Kylie didn't even want to stay longer. It was Sam that wanted to stay longer.
Yeah.
The only reason that Kylie asked to stay longer was because Sam wanted to stay longer.
Sam wanted to stay longer, and she was supposed to be a ride, but then they made sure in the car, to make sure that
happened in the car.
Something happened in that car. Something happened.
Well, because Shan, in the car is when Sam said, "Can you give me a ride home?"
Yeah.
That's when they decided to go home together.
She says in the car she was confirming her ride home.
No.
And then later she goes back to the party and changes her plans.
That's what I'm saying. In the car is when they decided that Kylie was going to take Sam home.
Mm-hmm. And that's why she texted her mom to ask her if she wanted to
stay later. That's when
Sammy.
Kylie texted mom at 11:15 saying, "Hey, can I have a later curfew?" Because Sammy wanted to stay longer.
Mm-hmm.
But then
it's really odd. Yeah, and then it's really odd that Sammy made sure to leave before Kylie. What? See, that alibi don't go together. It don't mesh well.
But then the other story is that Kylie called Sammy while Sammy was already being driven home.
But that phone call couldn't have happened if her phone was hard shut down.
According to Sam, it did happen.
Yeah, according to Sam, a lot of lies have been told.
So you see what I'm saying? From 11:30 to 12:30, the story is not clear. Nobody knows what happened between that time.
No, and it's so contradictory.
Nobody. Exactly.
And then you have the Truckee local that self-inserted herself and wanted to keep going on various panels. Panel hopping. Boom, boom,
How
boom,
many
boom.
panels did you say? How many panels?
It's a lot, honey. I'm still making
give me a ballpark.
List.
Give me a ballpark.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to say 10.
10 at least, right? Because one is mine.
Yep.
Twice on mine, and then every other channel. It's many.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's crazy because this same local that says that I harass her, which I've blocked her in every which way, like she keeps making alternative accounts just to come and chat. Just 2 months ago, she came up on my panel. Remember, to clarify things and to thank me for defending her and all this weird ass shit.
Well, when the other creator was being crazy, I remember many of us band together. Many of us came together because we didn't like what was going on.
Like, it's really not my fault that the Truckee local inserted herself so heavily as she did. For somebody that didn't want to talk about Kylie, she sure continued to talk about Kylie. Sure did come to people's panels even after the fact of saying, I don't want to talk about Kylie on my channel. She still continued to come to people's channels with alternative names. Hell, she was in mine, 3 weeks ago while I was doing ink shirts.
I don't know about that one.
There was a Megan Cole that
Slinging
came in
your
my
what?
chat room.
Slinging your
ink.
what? Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
A Megan Cole had showed up in my
oh.
chat room. Like I said, I can't confirm whether it was or wasn't her. All I can confirm is that it was banned. She came in. Somebody came in under that name and asked if I would give them a. Where's my Kylie shirt? Is what they asked. Where's my shirt? I said, oh, I can't give you a Kylie shirt, but I would be more than welcome to send you a say their names shirt. You know. But it's insane to me that she's the only one that still continually inserts herself into something she don't want to talk about. If you don't want to talk about it, okay, don't talk about it, but we do. You know, that's the beautiful thing about freedom of speech.
Yeah, I can
All
see
these
that.
people that tell us to move on need to move on so that we can continue doing what we do, you know? My life does not revolve around Kylie. Like, I am a super busy person. I have a lot of things going on for me. But Kylie is a constant thought in the back of my mind. These cases that I focus on are constant thoughts in the back of my mind.
Same here. You know, the weekend that I just had, and I'm, you know, it's an ongoing thing because it's not just a little problem. It's
no,
like
and people can't like, and the most insane thing about it is like she's the only one and her friends throwing a stink about us continuing to go over it. Like it's weird to me. It's weird to me.
What is wrong with us talking about it, I guess?
Nothing. That's our freedom of speech. We are allowed to talk about whatever the hell we want to. And I'm going to continue.
I mean,
whether
if we
it's
do it
about
respectfully
Epstein,
and
or it's
follow
about
the
trafficking, or if
rules
it's about
of the
Kylie, like I'm going
internet,
to talk about
we
whatever
have
I
to
want on my
follow the
channel.
rules of the internet.
Well, yeah.
You know,
And
the
then so that these
interwebs.
people can't make false strikes on my channel anymore, I'm going to continue just focusing on the people that don't strike me, that have, you know, footages or discussions or whatever that we want to talk about. That's what I'm going to do.
I hear you.
All right, I'm going to hit play.
Did contradict some of Sammy's story.
Let me rewind this a little bit.
That when she came forward as Jane Doe 1 or 2, whichever one it was, that some of the stuff she said did contradict some of Sammy's story. But at the same time, this is a girl who is friends with Sammy. And I have to question.
Yeah, and there's another.
Perhaps the contradiction.
There's another person. Elsa and Sammy have been seen in pictures together, but you don't see pictures of Elsa and Kylie really together. It's odd.
Predictions were aimed at correcting Sammy's original story.
Like, if all these kids know each other and hang out with each other, why does nobody
change the narrative?
Nobody in Sammy's clique have pictures of Kylie?
And rather than being dumb, like a certain individual that we know who just basically comes out and changes the narrative anytime she gets caught out, perhaps it was put to Elsa, well, we need to change the narrative, so you're going to come out and you're going to speak to a creator so you can change the narrative for us. And it might make Sammy look a little bit bad, but it's going to help to clear her name. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that more closely when I do actually have a look at the Jane Doe's 1 and 2.
Oh, that's crazy, Melissa.
Elsa.
I did not know that.
That's all I'm going to say on her for now, because like I said, I think I am going to do those 2 videos, which means that I will be focusing more heavily on her. But here's something that I've noticed.
Yeah, I think they are close to the same age.
And I think it's going to be something that I go into
the moms
in more detail, probably on a live, because this is already a really long video. But Sammy organized the party.
Yes, there are pictures, Kareem. There are pictures of Elika, or whatever her name is. There are pictures of her and Kylie together. there's that really, really pretty picture of Kylie close up, and Alika, whatever her name is right next to her. Yeah, they were friends.
Sammy was the social butterfly. We've seen
There's multiple
so
pictures of
many
them together,
images of her being the party animal,
which is crazy.
surrounded by
Again, Alika and Kylie at some point had a friendship enough that they took pictures together. And here's another person that I don't know if they left the country for school or what, but it's another person. When Kylie went missing, they said bye.
her friends. So how is it that with Sammy organising the party, Sammy apparently being with Kylie all night?
Where's
and yet
where?
The only people who we've really heard anything from or about are those people who are in Kylie's friendship group.
Mm-hmm.
Did Sammy's friends not go to the party? Or did Sammy's friends go to the party and not hang out with her at all? Because if you look at it that way,
it's a very odd timeline and
if Sammy's
storyline.
friends were at the party, would they not have also been hanging around with Sammy and Kylie? I'll leave you with that as food for thought.
I'll be right back, Shannon. I have to use the restroom.
And like
Yes,
I
ma'am.
said, I think this is something that I'll delve into a little bit more on a live, because there's so much more that I could have covered in this video.
There's so much.
And
so
I realized
much.
that I just didn't get through it all.
Like, there's so much, and none of the accounts point to accident.
And it's well over half an hour long already. So I guess stay tuned.
Mm-hmm. All right, there are two videos that okay, there's the JPL one. We were listening to some of that. I can't find the ones that there's the search, few unseen clips. There was another video that I wanted to visit, but I don't remember which one it is right now. Oh no. What's this one? I have no idea. Is this the one, the 9-minute mark, that it was important? Let's see. Exactly, Billy.
I called her and I sent her texts too, and she didn't answer. And so that's when I knew that something was wrong.
She was having a fun time at a party.
She was having a fun time at a party, just being teens. Ugh. All right, let me see if this is the one. It's the 9-minute mark. Let me see.
The phone ping was very close to where Adventures with Purpose found Kylie's vehicle. So
yeah, and it's really crazy that the following morning, when Lindsay Rodney Neiman called at 9:20 a.m. to report her daughter missing, at 10 a.m. is when they started their search and rescue at Prosser Reservoir. They had the last ping. They knew where to look.
Yes,
do they have Kylie's phone? Is that something which they found?
Look, and that's another thing that we never got clarity on, transparency on, is was Kylie's phone ever found? Was it not found? Does the FBI have it? Did they get a warrant to see who she was in contact with? If there was any
who are we
text,
to
like
this information? Who are we
What?
to have this? No, that's the voice always behind like in my head,
but
like,
that's the
oh,
thing
well,
is,
who are you that deserve this explanation? It's like everything is kept public.
As law enforcement, they're supposed to release that to the public, to the media. That is their job, to report to the American people. They work for us. That's why our tax dollars pay them.
Exactly.
And I have never in my life seen a case play out such as Kylie Rodney's.
Same. It's so weird.
Not one. I'm trying to find a case that is similar to hers. Like, there's some that have like resemblances of people and situations and conversations, or the way that people speak and stuff. But there is not one case that is like Kylie Rodney's. Yeah, and not if the case is still open. And that's the thing, is like we can't even get clarity from the FBI. They tell us to contact Nevada County because they closed their case, and they were the final investigating county.
Yep.
There is no case like this one. Not one. You
I
are
just
correct.
shared on my page.
Yep, not one. Yeah, what happened to Kylie's phone? Well, and that's the thing, is like they don't even really need to release the phone records, but they should have at least clarified like the timeline. Like, I've never seen a timeline with so many gaps in it. Look at the Cheez-It girl. How much of a timeline we got on somebody that was faking their own abduction.
Yeah, for real though. That's true.
You see what I'm saying? Like how much
No, I know.
surveillance was released on it. Like
we knew.
They did
knew
a
right
proper
away.
investigation to nab somebody that faked their own abduction. But then in the case of Kylie Rodney, like all we literally got was a picture of a screen at an angle of a freeze frame of a surveillance video that doesn't look like Kylie Rodney.
It was basically nothing.
Nothing.
There is no
There's
report.
No
there's no
timeline.
accident report. There's no official timeline from law enforcement except for what is on that CHP shit online. But we don't even have the full report. Everyone's okay with this. We're all just okay with it.
When you have transparency, when you have a proper investigation, like a timeline is put out there and then updated on a daily fucking basis. Look at all the cases that we're looking at right now. Look how their timelines, look how their every movement was tracked, how everything is put out there in the media. Not the case of Kylie Rodney.
That's right.
Very true, Becca. And I agree with you, Craney. But I think
In the car by chance, something which maybe didn't fall out and they were lucky enough to find in the
well, and then that's another thing that I keep saying, okay, is if this was just a tragic accident, Kylie's phone should have been on her person, whether in her pocket, in her car, plugged into a charger, like the phone should have been there.
Well, and if it was a tragic accident, then they would have found the vehicle immediately because they would have evaluated, okay, the party was here. Oh, okay, instead of taking this turn, she probably took this turn and ended up in the water, and then been able to find her. The last ping was by the water, or as much on water it was as much on land. So that means that water was involved. So y'all's priority would have been to search those waterways, especially at least 30 feet in. 30.
And look, there's documentation. Documentation of the flight paths, how many times they passed over, like the ROVs going in the water, like all this documentation.
Excuse. There's no excuse for her being. How long did it take? How many weeks, Shan?
2 weeks.
2 weeks for her to be found. When it's extensive searching. Yeah. And what was it? Sonar. But Adventures with Purpose had to be called it. And also interesting how it was Adventures with Purpose's first case that was ongoing. Had to be Kylie's, which ironically she was found immediately. So, you know, sometimes we think the world's a stage, right? But
20,000 hours versus under 35 minutes. That's that's the reality. Yes. And they did it with a fucking blow up boats and a fucking fish finder. Like a fish finder.
No water in lungs. Yeah.
And then they try to talk it up like, oh, well, they do this every day, or they do this, you know, more. And then you think about their search and rescue, like think about Tahoe search and rescue. If you think about Placer County, Nevada County, Alameda County, Washoe County, like they train extensively for this shit. Because of what happens in the winter months, you know, what happens in the summertime of these people going missing in waterways, rivers, whatever.
You remember that YouTube video that law enforcement put out as to why they didn't find Kylie, even though they had the pin? Remember that KCRA news where they were talking about who was in charge of finding pings and all that shit? You remember that? But they had to. That was just a few days after they found Kylie.
Yeah. But just none of this makes sense, and I'm going to continue discussing it, continue going over everything. If it's around Kylie Rodney, if somebody inserted themselves to talk about it, look, we're just going to keep going over it. I'm not targeting anybody by any means.
Who says
By
you're
any
targeting
means.
anybody? I don't think you're
There's
targeting
numerous
anybody.
people that try to say that I target people, that I harass people, that this, that. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't bothering nobody other than talking about what I want to talk about on my channel.
Which is what we're allowed to do.
Yes, by law. And
Yeah,
clearly YouTube
Kylie's
is
cases.
in favor of that. Yeah, I'm not going to stop talking about Kylie.
Oh, wait, yeah,
I am
your
for the
channel's
night,
back. We're not on So Fire, right?
No, my
Is
channel's
this Girls
back.
on Fire?
Yeah, my first strike was lifted. Yeah, it was lifted last week, and then my final strike is going to be lifted tomorrow.
So people
That'll be
just
the
did
10
some
days.
random shit just to do some random shit to you.
Well, yeah,
But you're good. Isn't
YouTube
that
favored
crazy?
in me that it was
Because you're right.
an unwarranted false copyright
Is that
claim.
crazy?
And they favored for my fair use.
Boom.
And are removing the strikes. Yeah.
That's good.
Like, that's YouTube policy. And some people just can't accept that. It's
sad.
It's really hard to fight copyright strikes. It's really hard to fight strikes on YouTube. And when they favor with you, it's because they investigated both parties to see, what is what.
Ah.
Absolutely. I support the full Constitution of the United States as well. Me too. Absolutely. But that's all I got for y'all tonight. That's it. That's it. I think I'm gonna go back to sleep. I've been napping off and on all day today. My ears and my throat hurt.
Well, take care of yourself. Eat some honey, some raw honey.
I've been doing honey and teas and drinking a lot of coconut water.
Turmeric.
Oh, I'll make some turmeric eggs tomorrow. I'll do some
turmeric
turmeric
and garlic, dude. That'll be your best friends.
I'll do turmeric, garlic, and
send me a picture of that shit.
What? Oh, my eggs?
What you eat? Yes.
Oh, you want to see my food? All right, I'll send you a picture tomorrow when I make.
I'll tell you, turmeric, garlic, ginger, all that shit's gonna cure you. Lemon, do it.
Ginger's my friend. I need to go get some ginger root. Matter of fact. But yeah, I'll send you some pictures of when I make my brekkies in the morning.
Brekkies.
I love y'all so much. I really, truly do. I'm sorry my live is not later tonight. I'm probably going to chill out. I haven't played video games since my last live. I think I'm going to chill out, play a couple video games. If you guys want me to go live in game, I can do that. Other than that, yeah. Okay, I'll go live.
Go watch the Performance Pantry jazz band.
Dude, I'm so proud of you and your kids, dude. Second place is good shit, dude. Good shit.
I mean, it's not first, but whatever, right?
So?
But
I was always taught second is best.
You heard my kiddos?
I watched it. Yes, I watched it.
Oh, that's cool.
As soon as I get a notification that you drop anything on either of your channels, I'm there. And if I don't notice it, people make sure to let me know, hey, Ara dropped a video. So yeah, no, everybody watches your shit.
Oh, well, the kids
We're
videos.
supportive of it. Yeah, you're a good teacher, honey. You're a really good teacher.
Okay,
you should be proud of your progress. You should be proud of what you're doing,
We're doing it. Yeah. And also, a lot of those instruments are donated. Those trumpets are donated from people in the chat.
Look, if I can come up with the money to send this one instrument, I'll definitely send it to you. I can't believe that they want as much as they do for the shipping.
No, don't worry about that. It's bullshit. But people, some of those instruments that were on that stage were from people that donated instruments from YouTube. And we all came together because of Kylie. So I think that's just a beautiful thing.
Look, if I can ever get my fucking car in order, if this weather would ever change to where I can work on it, if I can get my car situated, I'll just hand deliver it to you, No,
don't worry about it. But y'all helped some of those instruments get to those kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wish Miss Ara would go live more often, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes. But I understand, the people on YouTube, they really do harass people. They really are relentless. Even if you're using your own channel to state your own opinion, your own speculation, your own research, it's a shame how people will target you and try to do the dirty ass shit that they do and then cry wolf about it. But that's for another discussion. Maybe we'll talk about that whenever I get back.
If you're going gaming.
Yeah, give me 5-10 minutes because I need to eat something.
You better have a
Even if it's-
vegetable.
Look, I might put some hummus on some toast. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet.
Do the hummus, but eat a fucking
I love
vegetable,
hummus.
okay?
We want me to eat some peppers.
Just something that is vegetable-y.
Vegetables. All right,
You
I'm
know
gonna eat
vegetable.
something. And then
Yes,
I'll be
ma'am.
live again in about 10, 15 minutes. I'll play some video games, let you guys chit chat and stuff like that.
Unless I go live first. I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you go live, I'm down for that. Maybe I'll go live after you. I don't know, but I know I need to lay down soon. But first, I need to fucking eat and play some video games.
Okay. You do that.
If you go live, please do. I would love it. I would
will.
love it for you too. All right.
Okay.
I love you. I love everybody
you all.
here. Thank you for being
Bye.
here. Hit that thumbs up. If not, that's cool too. Justice for Kylie Rodney.